Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Wellness in the Kitchen session, presented by United Healthcare. Today's session is hot wings presented by Chef Sandra. Sandra, whenever you are ready.
I am ready, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. We have a very delicious cooking session, and I am Chef Sandra Lewis with Life at the Table, and I am delighted to be your culinary host again today. Anybody here for the first time? Raise your hand. Find that little chat or that little reaction button or the chat window. Let me know if you are here for the first time. I would love to know if we have any newbies. All right. Well, as always, we're going to get started with a brief presentation and then we're going to get right into it. We have 45 minutes today and we have a lot to talk about in terms of wings. And then, as always, find that chat window, put your questions, put your comments. I want to hear from you as we cook together. We have Austin here who is, well, welcome, Katrina. I'm so glad that you are here. We have Austin here who will help me keep track of the comments and the questions in the chat window. So I'm going to share my presentation with you right now. Hot wings. Who loves hot wings? Raise your hand. I love hot wings. And I'm going to tell you, there we go. Lots of hot wings fans in this crowd. I'm going to tell you, after you learn how easy it is to make hot wings at home, you're going to go, why would I go out for that? So you'll be cooking more at home after this. All right, here is hot wings. First of all, we always begin, for those of you who are new with us, a discussion of the most important question you answer every day, which is, what's for dinner? And usually the conversation goes like this. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? You have this conversation, with your family or significant other or a friend. It could be anybody. I'm single. I live alone, but I sort of have this conversation in my head every day. And then it goes something like that. Let's cook. Okay, let's cook. And then you go, wait, I don't have the ingredients on hand. I'm tired of repeating the same dishes. I don't know what to cook. I don't have time to cook. I am too tired to cook, right? It's a long road to hoe to get to okay. It simply may be that you don't know how to cook, and that's why we have these sessions. My goal is to inspire you and educate you about how easy it is to feed yourself at the home table every night. Now, the other thing is you go, well, all right, let's cook. We got a lot of obstacles. Let's eat. You go, okay. Well, wait, do we eat out, take out, or drive through? So you get to okay a lot faster. But here's my favorite ancient philosopher, Hippocrates. Goodness, I can't talk this morning. He is the father of modern medicine. So our modern medical system is built on the ideas of this ancient man. Here is the most important thing he said: let your medicine be your food and your food be your medicine. So begin to think differently about how you feed yourself, because food is filled with nutrients that you need, that your body needs to help prevent disease. So definitely begin to think about that evening meal very differently. So practical benefits of cooking. It is the ultimate have it your way. It's hard for me to go out to eat. Because I'm thinking I can pan sear that salmon at home a lot better than they can. Why am I paying them to do this? Or it's simply an uninteresting menu because, again, I could do it at home. So cooking at home is the ultimate have it your way experience. And then you'll learn to cook with the ingredients you have on hand and reduce the number of trips you make to the grocery store. Who would like to give the grocery store less money? Me. That is indeed true. Most important benefit of cooking is to leave ample time for the most important activity in life, which is life at the table. And that's why the name of my company is called Life at the Table. I want to help you make short work of what goes on here so you can do really what's important in life. And that is what goes on behind this wall here. And that is creating community, having conversation with friends and family. All right. So today we've got hot wings. Next week we have paella. please register. Tell your friends about these fun sessions. Now, I'm going to pause because today we are cooking hot wings. I'm going to show you how to cut those hot wings, buy a big package of hot wings from the grocery store and cut them up. And then we're going to fry them. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my oil because it's probably going to take, a few hot minutes for that oil to come up to temperature. So I've got peanut oil in this, and I'm not sure that you can see my second camera yet. I hope that you can, but I've got a good amount of peanut oil in this ceramic cast iron. It's actually a Le Creuset orange, one of my favorite colors, in addition to green. So we're going to go ahead and get that on. And then I have a handheld, here we go, a handheld thermometer that I'll check the temperature of this oil as it gets ready. All right, so hot wings, here's what we're going to end up with today, y'all. It is absolute goodness. And I'm going to turn on my back burner. For those of you, I think you can see that back burner going on, but it clicks incessantly. I don't turn it on while the front burner's on. All right, so hot wings. Number one, it's a beloved American dish, and 1.42 billion wings were consumed during this past year's Super Bowl. Wrap your head around that figure. How many chickens did it take to create 1.42 billion wings? The origin is in Buffalo, New York in the late 1960s. Teresa Bellissimo, I think is the way you say that, Bellissimo created the dish as a late night snack for her son and his friends. And I believe the name of the bar was the Anchor Bar, or this. Yeah, it's in the in my blog post where the recipe is, and we'll share that in just a minute. All right, so here are some cooking tips to keep in mind with hot wings, and that is you want to trim the tips from the wings. I will show you how to do that, and then separate the wingette from the drumette. You're going to toss them in flour. You're going to fry at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for no less than 10 minutes. So you want to make sure that you maintain the proper oil temperature so that your wings get cooked all the way through and yet are not burned on the outside, but have that nice, really crispy crust. After your wings have cooled just a bit, you're going to sauce them. I already have the sauce going here on the stove next to the oil. And then let me just pause and see where this oil is. It's only at 150. So I knew it would take just a little bit of time for that oil to come up to temperature. And then, y'all, I'm going to share with you my homemade ranch dressing recipe here today. So you will use the sauce that you coat these wings in. You can use the extra leftover sauce as a dipping sauce, but who doesn't love a good homemade ranch to dip wings in? So we'll share that with you today as well. All right. If you're new and you want my top 10 vegetables and fruits for weeknight cooking, text the word cook, right, to 66866, and I'll send you my top 10 vegetables and fruits for weeknight cooking. And if you want to know a little bit more about Life at the Table, it's lifeatthetable.com. I do virtual cooking classes, which you can register for. You can see the whole host of classes there. I do culinary team building where we ship people ingredients and we cook together virtually. And then exciting news for me this past week was my podcast, A Savory Moment, is now available on Spotify. So for those of you who are Spotifyers, you can easily find my podcast on Spotify. And of course, it's always been on iTunes. It's called A Savory Moment by Life at the Table. So you should be able to find it super easy. And then follow me on all those social media channels. And then I have a really fun community group on Facebook. Once you like the Facebook page, you can ask to join the Life at the Table community, where people just post, recipes and pictures of their food and ask questions and kind of dialogue about this thing called cooking. All right, so that is the end of that. I'm going to stop sharing, and it looks like we have some questions or comments. So Lisa has asked, what kind of oil are you using? In a peanut oil. Absolutely, we are using peanut oil, and peanut oil has a really high smoke point. It's about 400 and was it 475 degrees? I don't remember numbers off the top of my head. Let me look real quick. Let's see. It's 450. And 450 for peanut oil. When I fry, I typically like to use peanut oil. Now, avocado oil has actually a higher smoke point. It can go up to 520 degrees, but avocado oil is fairly expensive. Well, peanut oil is expensive too, but avocado oil is definitely expensive to fill up a pot like this. I think I used about a half a gallon of peanut oil. So highly recommend peanut oil. I actually save my peanut. Oh, here, let me move my camera really quick so you can see what I'm doing. I'm creating the flour that we are going to toss these wings in. So here is the flour mixture for these wings. It's a little bit of flour. Oh, wait, Austin, we need to put the recipe, or
Yep,
was
I
the
already
recipe already?
posted.
Oh, you already
Already
did?
posted.
Okay. Can you go to Life at the Table and then look for the homemade ranch dressing and post that there as well? All right. Okay.
The homemade ranch dressing.
Yeah, homemade ranch. Okay. So here we go. So this flour, we want to season this flour. So, we want the flour to create the coating, kind of that crispy coating that's going to come out once we fry these wings, but we also want it to give some flavor. So into this flour, I put, not a small amount of cayenne pepper because I love heat. You can put less if you want. And then a really nice amount of salt. And then I'm just going to grab my whisk and whisk all of this together. And that's really all it takes. And then while we've got our oil still heating up, let me show you how you're going to trim these beautiful chicken wings. And I'm going to put a wing here on my cutting board. Let me move my camera back over here so you can see. There is my cutting board. Let me check my oil really quick. 254, so we still have a little ways to go. So I'm going to grab this wing and let's see, what am I going to do first? I'm going to grab this wing and put it on my cutting board. So there is a beautiful chicken wing. So the parts of the chicken wing that you need to know, let me get this down just a little bit closer. I think that is a little high. Do that. So I want to give you a really good view. There we go. We're going. Okay. Then I'll have to raise it up when I put it back over here on the oil. The first thing you want to do, so I bought, a package of chicken wings. Let's see. Okay, there we go. What is wrong? Here it goes. Come on. This is craziness. There we go. Oh, my Lord. Sorry about that. My tripod is not cooperating. Let me check my oil. 289. We're getting close, y'all. We are getting so close. So here's the chicken wing big O package that I bought. Very inexpensive. Here is the wing tip that we first want to remove. And so you can see here, there is a joint. You're just going to take your knife, and I'm not going to use that knife. That's the knife I always use. I'm going to use my big German knife. I have a Japanese knife here and a German knife. The German knife is really more attuned. The steel, type of steel that they use to make German knives really fits well with trying to cut through the bone on this chicken wing. So I'm just going to put it right there at that joint. Take this knife, and then there is this tip of this wing I'm not going to fry this up. There's not a lot of meat on it, but guess what it's super good for? Anybody know?
Soup.
Soup. Yeah, but back that up one step. Stock.
Yeah, someone actually just posted that.
Okay, yeah. So use those tips to make chicken stock. Put them in the freezer until you collect some of them. They'll be fine. Now, the way you separate this drumette, right, that drumette there from this wing, is you feel right here at the joint, and there's a little bit of a divot. You're going to put your knife right there in that divot, and then give it a good, some force, downward force there, and look, it separates super duper easy. So you've got this beautiful wingette and now that drumette. So now I am going to move back over here to this flour mixture, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that, because my oil is getting super close to being done. Let me check it real quick. I can feel the heat. 318, gonna be done just really, really quickly. So I'm going to take some of these drumettes, some of these wingettes, toss them in this flour. You want to make sure that they're, not runny, because you want them dry, because you want that flour to stick. Let me get this. And I think that's probably good. And you're just going to take them and then just toss them in that flour. Take them out, give them a little bit of a shake. I'll put them here in this bowl. We'll see how many I can get into my pot to get it full. All right, there's that. I think I'll just do 2 more. That'll be good. All right, I can see. So you can see that this flour mixture makes a lot. So, I mean, you could probably use that flour to do, 1 big package of chicken wings. I'm going to wash my hands really quickly. I'm going to rearrange. Okay. And now, if you don't have one of these thermometers, right, you could just throw in, so it's at 344, 347. It's getting there. See if it does any better. No, just about 20 more degrees. That is perfect. So what was I going to say? Oh, if you don't have a thermometer, let's take a look at this oil. And let me rearrange I've got to pull this up so that my camera doesn't overheat. Otherwise, it will stop recording. It happened to me last week. I was trying to make some videos in my kitchen, and my phone totally overheated. So let's do this. I'm going to do this so you can see that. Then I'm going to bring it up even a little bit more. I just want to avoid that. Okay. You guys can still see that okay, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's a little bit higher than normal, but we are going to make it work. Okay, so here we go. Got my drumettes, wingettes prepared. I've got my chicken tips set aside, the wing tips set aside, so I can put those in the freezer. The oil is heating up, and you guys can see how super simple this is. That's at 365, so only about 10 more degrees. You guys can see how super simple this would be on a weeknight, or for, a Super Bowl party. You don't have to order out wings. You can make them at home, or for a holiday party. Who doesn't like wings? Anytime you want something really simple and really good, remember the wings. Now, the one thing I'm going to dig out of my drawer while I'm waiting for that last 10 degrees is, you can call this a skimmer or a spider, but it's really more of a skimmer, but it's kind of a big spoon with a lot of holes in it. It will be very helpful once I want to dig those wings out of that grease. Okay, so here we go. I think we're very close. Let's see. And the other thing, I don't know if, oh yeah, there we go. Now I'm going to turn the heat down just a little because it zoomed right past 375. So I'm going to turn it down just a little so I maintain it. The temperature of the oil will drop once I put these wings in, but then I'll raise it back up because I really want to maintain that 375 for 10 minutes. So here we go. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. The one thing I was going to say before I got interrupted here is if you don't have the temperature gauge, you can see that the oil begins to move in the pot and you'll be able to see that it's heating up. And you can always throw one wing in and test it. And as you can see, it's boiling beautifully. Now, when you fry, you want to be really careful that you don't overfill your pot. Number one, you don't want that temperature to drop too much. You don't want that oil to have to work to fry. You want some movement in the pan so that oil is going to keep moving. And let's do one more. I think that's actually a perfectly filled pot. I went all the way around that pot. And now I'm going to wash my hands again. And I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. So we have a little bit of time to talk, and then I'm going to show you the sauce. So, oh, and it smells good already. I love it, and here's the deal. Okay, hold on. Let me do one thing at a time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Some people will say, hey, isn't fried food bad for you? I'm like, no. If you eat fried food every day, that's probably not good. But everything in moderation is okay. And especially if you're only eating it when you make it, because I guarantee you, you're not going to make wings every day. All right. So I know we have lots of comments. That's all it is. We're going to let that sit there for 10 minutes. And then while that's cooking, I'm also going to show you the sauce. But first, let me go through these comments. All right. We talked about peanut oil. Marcy, yeah, it looks so good. Yes. So Denise, the recipe is in the chat window. We are working on recording these sessions. We haven't quite got that down to a science yet, but just know that we're working on it. And then Yvonne says, okay, that oil over there is talking to me, so that's why I spun around, but it's fine. Yvonne says, I was one of those people who consumed wings. Absolutely. Okay, we got the text for the top 10 fruits and vegetables. And then Marcy says, someone in my house has to watch carbs. Can an alternative flour like almond be used, or can the flour be omitted? That is a great question. I don't know why you couldn't use almond flour, although I've never fried or put a crust on something that's fried with almond flour. I would certainly try it. I think you can admit the flour. It might not be the best result because you want that crust between the meat of the chicken and the outside of the chicken. So I'm just going to move these around. All right, let me pull them up. Look, y'all. Look how gorgeous. It's only been a couple of minutes. And those wings are looking absolutely stupendously beautiful, in my opinion. I love it. All right, so yes, wing tips, use it to make chicken stock and or broth. Yes, here we go. Oh, okay, so Suzanne asks, what kind of a thermometer is this? This is called ThermoWorks. So I have this one, which is, it's an infrared beam that takes the temperature of the oil. Let me see what we're sitting at. Okay, right now we're sitting at about 369. So I turned the oil down. It kind of zoomed past 375. Now I'm just going to turn it up for a minute. Let's see if that did anything. Nope, my thermometer is stuck. Okay, now it's at 371. So it's coming back up just a little bit. You want to maintain that 375 again so that it cooks properly. And then Do you season the flour or the wings first? Good question, Shanice. You season the flour. So I trimmed the wing tips from the wings. I separated the drumette and the wingette. And then I make sure they've been sitting out for room temperature for a little bit, and I had patted them dry before class. And then I drop them in the flour. So you don't want them dripping with juices or with water. You want, tiny bit of moisture on them. You toss them in that flour, and they're absolutely going to have that wonderful flour coating on them when you drop them in the oil. Okay, guessing that these can't be baked. Laura, that's a great question. You can absolutely bake these wings. Are they going to have the same crust on them? Probably not. If you're looking to avoid gluten, it might be a good choice to bake them. A lot of people, I'm surprised. Okay. All right, Marcy. I was just fixing to say, I'm surprised someone hasn't said, put them in an air fryer, right? And that is something you can absolutely do as well. Yeah. I don't have an air fryer. I don't use air fryers. So, I really, there's not much that I can do, can't do in my kitchen that I would use an air fryer for, or an Instapot. So I just don't have those gadgets. Okay, so we are still a few minutes in. Look how gorgeous these are looking. And I have my tray set up to take these wings. I've got a rack here on top of this sheet tray that I'm going to take the wings on, so all the extra oil can drip down, and those wings can maintain their crispness, so they're not going to sit in their oil. And then I'm going to toss them in the sauce. So while these continue cooking, let's talk about the sauce. And here is the sauce. You guys are getting a really nice view of all of my cast iron and carbon steel that I have stacked on my stove all the time. I don't have any more room in my drawers. But here's the sauce. I've just had this sauce sitting on low since we started class. And this sauce is basically, actually, I'm going to turn it off, a little bit of butter. It's cayenne. It's hot sauce and a little bit of salt. That's it. And that is the traditional hot wing sauce. So good. So I'm just going to take that off the burner. Let's just set it right over here on the counter. Let that cool off. That's going to be gorgeous. And then if you take a look at the, and then I'm just going to move these around. I kind of want to make sure they're all bubbling to the top, right? So how many minutes do we have left? Let me look. Let's see. Actually, I knew that. Grab this. Let's see, we have, hold on, 4 minutes left. I knew we were coming below 5. So we've got 4 minutes left. And then did you guys go take a look at the homemade ranch recipe? Love, love, love homemade ranch. And so here's my homemade ranch that I'll be serving with these wings. It's super simple. I did dill, I did parsley, and what else did I put in here? Oh, and I chopped up the green part of the green onion because I didn't have any chives. And chives weren't available at the store. So I used the end of the green onions, the green part only, when it calls for chives, and I don't have any. And then it's just buttermilk, it's sour cream, and a little mayonnaise. Oh, and don't forget the garlic. And then in a little cayenne. And then for those of you who have been in these sessions with me, I love red pepper flakes. And so I put a little red pepper flakes in my ranch dressing as well, but you don't have to. And I put more garlic than it called for. Okay, so we are coming down to the wire. Let me turn this back up. I have a feeling that's not clicking. No, it is. It's at 391, so we're doing good. Doing really good. And it's amazing. 10 minutes, you might think, 10 minutes. Wow, that's really a long time. but honestly, you need that wing to cook all the way through. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. So what are the carbon steel and cast iron brands you like? I would say there are two that I own. There's probably more that I like, but I have to tell myself I can't have everything. I have Lodge cast iron, and I also have Lodge cast iron and carbon steel. The other brand that I absolutely love is called Victoria, and I believe that is from Peru, and it is amazing cast iron. But I love to buy Lodge because it's made here in the United States. And the other one that I have shown y'all in some of the classes that I've taught is my great grandmother's cast iron, and there's no brand name on it. So it's probably 100 years old, and I love cast iron for that reason. It lasts, but I have no idea what brand that is. Okay, so I think I heard the 1 minute warning. Yep, we're just going to let these sit and continue cooking. And there was something else I was going to tell you guys, and I completely forgot. I don't know. Any questions? Any more questions? Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to tell y'all about my adventures in eating last night. Let me finish up with these wings, and then you're not the only one who struggles with the question, what's for dinner? All right, there's the timer. That was 10 minutes. And here we go. I'm going to take these wings out. This is why this spoon is so wonderful to use. And they look absolutely stunning. Gorgeous. And you can see why this rack is so helpful, because you want to maintain that really great crust on those chicken wings. And now I'm going to turn that off, and I am going to move it off of that burner. Let's just pull it so it's not sitting on that hot burner. Cast iron takes a while. All right, now I'm surprised nobody has asked me about saving oil. Has anybody have any questions about how to save or reuse oil? Let me put this here. There's our beautiful chicken wings. Okay, and you know what? I could bring this down now a little bit closer so that you guys can see. I'm not afraid that my camera's going to overheat. And bring it down, down, down. Okay. So you may be wondering, can you reuse your oil? Because, you spend a lot of money on peanut oil or whatever oil it is that you use in your kitchen. And you think, I've just used it one time. Can I use it again? And the question is, absolutely you can. So let me tell you how I do that. Now I drink coffee. You'll learn a little bit about me. I drink this coffee and chicory stuff from New Orleans. I wash these cans out, and then after I have used my oil, I put either a paper towel, or you can use a coffee filter, and I pour the oil into this can. I label it, and I put the lid back on it. Well, I put the lid back on it before I label it, and then I stick it in my refrigerator, and then it sits there until I want to use it again. And you can reuse oil 2-3 times depending on what it is that you fried. So I highly, highly recommend it. I mean, it's just smart. You can reuse it. So why not do so? Okay. Yeah, let's see. I know y'all are all hypnotized. Okay. So here we go. Now I'm going to take these wings and I'm going to toss them in the sauce. Man, these are nice and crispy. They're still a little bit hot. I personally would probably wait just a couple of more minutes for them to cool down, but I think this is fine. I'm going to grab my sauce. And I'm going to whisk, whisk, whisk. Make sure it's all together. That butter hasn't separated. I'm going to get a little bit of this sauce from a spatula. So there's the beautiful sauce right there. And I'm going to just take a spoonful, just put it in this bowl. That's probably good right there. And then what you do is this right here. The bowl does the work. So take them, toss them around. Come on, wings. There we go. It's hard to toss with my camera in front of me, but you want to make sure they're fully coated. There we go. We're getting there. So let the bowl do the work for you. Take your platter, and I got a little bit of sauce on my fingers there. Pour them out, and voila. So there you go. Now you can garnish them however you like. I think it's fun to garnish with a little bit of the green onion because I love the green color on it. I love the spiciness of that sauce. And use the extra sauce that you have left over, or make extra sauce if you've made so many wings that you're going to use all that sauce up, and then dip them in that hot sauce or dip them in ranch or blue cheese, whatever kind of a sauce floats your boat. All right, so let's see. We've got 9 minutes left. So Lisa asks, would I recommend this recipe for someone with diabetes? I am not a nutritionist, so I really can't answer that. I would definitely talk to a nutritionist about it. But in terms of diabetes, I don't know if salt or sugar is the culprit. There's not a lot of salt in here, so I am not sure. I sure wish I had some of those wings, right, Laura? I know. I'm going to have a good lunch today. I know, right? All right. Looks delicious. Could you make the sauce ahead? Absolutely. Absolutely, that sauce keeps well. It's really just hot sauce, some butter, cayenne, a little bit of salt, and it'll last several days in your refrigerator. Could keep that oil going and pop some fries to go with the wing? Absolutely. Absolutely. Use that oil. I'm going to tell you, those restaurants are reusing their oil every day, and they're frying chicken in it. They're frying, French fries in it. Absolute. Keep that oil going. In fact, I've got more chicken wings. I'll probably fire that back up and just finish off the lot I have out. And then Teresa asked, do I have a recipe for a honey barbecue sauce? I don't, but I am working on some recipes for barbecue sauce because I have gotten into barbecue. All right, so we have 7 minutes left. I'm going to tell you this story, and I wish I could show you the photo. I wonder if I could show you the photo. Oh, man, it's not on this. You know what? No, I can't. Oh, well, it's not on this computer. So on Mondays, you guys may or may not know, I teach at the Art Institute of Dallas. I'm an instructor over there, and I teach cooking skills to people who want to be professional chefs, and I love it. But yesterday, the class was from 12 to 5. I did not stop from 12 to 5. Usually I have some time to sit and grade papers. There's actually homework, written homework in these classes, etc. There was no time to do that. So for 5 hours, I was on my feet, walking around and teaching skills. And I left school and I had to go and run one errand. And then I came home. By the time I got home, it was probably a little after 6 o'clock. And what did I do? I had the same dialogue in my head that I go through in this presentation every day, except I'm tired of making the same thing because that never happens to me. But I was like, okay, what ingredients do I have on hand? I don't know. I'm too tired to cook, right? I'm not sure what I can cook tonight. All of those objections I went through in my head. And then I said, hold on a minute. I've got Italian sausage. I've got some spinach. I've got some grape tomatoes. I've got onion and I've got garlic. What could I do with all of that stuff? I was like, I'm going to make myself a really nice pasta sauce and serve it over spaghetti. And that is exactly what I did. And I'm going to tell you, that entire meal because the Italian sausage was already cooked. Took me 30 minutes. By 6:45, I was eating an amazing meal that I know I could not have gone somewhere in this city and had for the same amount of money I spent on it in the very little time that it took me. There was hardly any cost to that meal whatsoever in terms of money or time. So I just want to encourage you to think about that evening meal, especially. Begin to think about your pantries. Get that list from me of the top 10 fruits and vegetables, because it's super important to have those on hand, and some additional pantry items, which we should do another session on all of that, so that you can have ingredients on hand to cook. It can happen with some skill and a little bit of, a well-stocked pantry. That's all you need. So, all right. So any other questions or comments before we go? Real Italian, yes. Oh, I know. You know what? And I put a little bit of white wine and cream in the sauce. Now I reduce the white wine, right? Because when you reduce wine, it leaves all of those flavor molecules in the sauce, but very little of that alcohol or wine taste. It's amazing. I will absolutely write that meal up and show you guys how to do this. Let's see. Anissa asked, she had to leave her desk and miss the whole. Anissa, we're working on recording all of these sessions. We're having a bit of a challenge with Zoom, recording both cameras, but we're going to work on it and see what we can do. And that's it. Oh, by the way, on my website today, I do have a new recipe. It's an herb vinaigrette. Oh, wait, it's not published yet, but it's coming. I forgot. It's not published. I just need to make a couple of edits to the copy, and it's going to get published. So it'll either be published this afternoon, more than likely this afternoon, or first thing in the morning. But you're going to want to try that herb vinaigrette. All right. Anything else? I don't think so. All right, you guys. So, right, what's the most important question you ask every day? What's for dinner? You've got, ingredients in your refrigerator. You can put those together into a fabulous meal. When you want to make wings, make them. Look how easy they are. I'm so excited. I can't wait to sit down and have lunch myself with my homemade ranch dressing. And I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Guess what we're making next week? Paella. So tell your coworkers, register for that class next week. And don't forget to put your comments into the survey that you get once you leave this meeting. Those surveys are read. People pay attention to them. And it's really important, if you like this session, to keep these going. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate it. All right. We'll see you. Bye.